The greatest crimes are not committed in darkness, but in broad daylight, by people who smile while they do it. There's something disturbingly theatrical about how they did you, not quietly, not discreetly, but loud, deliberate and bold, as if attacking an innocent person gave them a standing ovation in hell. Let's get one fact straight. According to psychological studies, people are 4 times more likely to believe a charismatic liar than a quiet truth-teller. And guess who you were? The quiet truth-teller. The one who showed up, did right, loved hard, gave deep, and still ended up being burned at the stake like the villain in their twisted fairy tale. And the worst part, they knew you were innocent. They knew you were genuine. They just didn't care. Because the story was juicier when you were the bad guy. People say truth always comes out in the end, like it's a comforting bedtime story. But truth? Truth usually shows up late, mad, holding receipts and ready to blow up group chats. So now, here we are. The same people who laughed while you cried, who orchestrated your public takedown like it was a community sport, they're now stuttering, sweating and scrambling for alibis. Because the world's starting to realize you were the innocent one. And what they did to you was straight up disgusting. Let's talk about it. Let's peel back the mask, flip the script, and finally say what needed to be said from the very beginning. And, oh, if you're easily triggered by truth, this might not be the video for you, but if you're ready to see what divine vindication looks like, buckle up. Number 1, they demonized your purity because it highlighted their filth. They didn't hate you because you were wrong. They hated you because you were right. You didn't need to put on a mask or pretend to be something you weren't. You walked into rooms with your head high, your conscience clean, and your spirit intact. That's what disturbed them. You didn't owe anyone explanations for being a decent human being, but somehow your goodness became a spotlight on their filth. The way you treated people with fairness, honesty, and compassion made them uncomfortable, not because you were doing too much, but because they were doing too little. It's not that you tried to outshine anyone. In fact, you probably just wanted peace. But your presence highlighted what they had lost a long time ago: authenticity. They gave up their truth for applause, sold their morals for popularity, and shaped their lives around manipulation and masks. Then you walked in, no performance, no gimmicks, just real. And that was too much. You were a mirror they never asked for. And instead of confronting what they saw, they tried to smash the mirror and blame it for showing the cracks. They wanted to believe you were fake. They needed to believe you were hiding something. Because if someone could go through what you've gone through and still carry light, then what excuse did they have for becoming monsters in the name of survival? You became the unspoken proof that the soul can still be clean even after the storm. And that drove them mad. They needed you to fall. They prayed for your downfall behind fake smiles. And when it didn't come, they tried to create one. That's what makes it so twisted. You weren't even competing. You were just being. But in a world full of people who thrive on dominance, silence, and control, your innocence made too much noise. It shook the illusions they built their lives on, so they had to make you the enemy. Not because you were evil, but because you made them face the evil in themselves. They didn't just attack a person. They attacked a reminder that even in this dark world, purity still exists, and they couldn't stand it. Number 2, they chose character assassination because actual evidence didn't exist. They couldn't find any real dirt on you, so they had to create some. That's how desperate it got. When they realized there was no proof, no scandal, no smoking gun, they didn't back off. They doubled down, because the truth wasn't working in their favor. So they built a lie that could do the damage the facts never could, and they made it convincing. They dressed it up with fake concern, manipulated the timeline, left out important details, and sprinkled in just enough truth to make it sound believable. That's how character assassination works. It doesn't need evidence. It just needs volume and repetition. They didn't want people to think for themselves. They wanted them to feel something: anger, suspicion, distrust, anything that would turn the crowd against you. So they planted seeds in conversations, whispered your name in controversy, and asked fake questions like, "Don't you think it's strange how they always," knowing full well what they were doing? They couldn't confront you directly because you didn't actually do anything wrong. And that's what frustrated them most. You had nothing to hide, so instead of exposing a secret, they had to create a story. What's worse is how quickly people believed it. Not because it made sense, but because lies tend to spread faster than truth. Especially when the truth is boring and the lie is entertaining. You became a topic, a rumor, a punchline. And the people who once smiled in your face started side-eyeing you, not because they knew anything for sure, but because someone with just enough influence whispered the wrong thing at the right time. It was never about truth. It was about control. They wanted to control how people saw you, how you were treated, how your name carried weight or lost it. And the fastest way to do that wasn't through honesty, it was through manipulation.